Hello and welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Adam Cellini. Topping our news tonight, the victims of a double shooting in Bradenton from earlier this morning have been identified as Keith Jones from Jacksonville and Rodney Williams from Tampa. The Manatee County Sheriff's Office still looking for 3 to 4 murder suspects. Detectives believe these victims were targeted. However, the investigation comes at the same time as Sarasota police are investigating the death of a man found along a Sarasota roadway. That man is being identified as Palmetto man Andre Bryant. ABC 7's Erica Jackson helps explain how these incidents may be related.
Both Manatee County Sheriff's deputies and Sarasota police are investigating 3 deaths they believe could be connected. 2 bodies were found inside of this home in Bayshore Gardens and another found on the side of the road in Sarasota.
Lived here 40 years and this is just nuts. Absolutely nuts. I've never seen this many cops in all my life.
Paul Hennessy says this neighborhood in Bayshore Gardens is usually quiet.
You hear about Bayshore Gardens turning into a crime-ridden area, and it's not. It really isn't. That's across 41.
But patrol cars and investigators lined Harvard Avenue on Saturday.
I saw the sheriff's department down there and I knew that it was probably going to be bad news.
The Manatee County Sheriff's Office is still looking for the suspects of a shooting hours after it happened around 4 a.m. A 25-year-old woman living in this home told deputies she was approached by 3 to 4 suspects. She was forced into a bedroom inside the home where she heard yelling and gunshots from outside the door. She escaped and called 911. Deputies arrived to find 2 men dead inside the home.
There were 2 individuals that came to the residence after the female was in there that are not the bad guys.
Santiago Herrera says he saw a man running through his neighbor's yard minutes after the shooting.
When I seen the guy coming over, jumped the fence, and they want to jump at my fence, he was looking out there and he was scared, real scared, the poor guy. Then the next thing I knew, all kind of police cars are here.
Another body was found in Sarasota just a few hours later off Bay Vista Street. Sarasota police don't believe the public is in danger, but they're investigating a possible connection to the homicides in Bayshore Gardens.
There's too much hate in the world, and it's too easy for people to just pop a cap on somebody when they get mad.
While there may be a connection between the deaths in Sarasota and Bayshore Gardens, the Sheriff's Office tells us there is no connection to Friday's double homicide on Longboat Key. Reporting in Bayshore Gardens, Erica Jackson, ABC 7, your Suncoast News.
All right, thank you, Erica. And as she mentioned, this marks the 5th homicide in Manatee County in just a few days. It is actually less than 48 hours after that double homicide on Longboat Key. A masked gunman robbing 2 hotel employees at the Zota Beach Resort on the island. Both victims were shot and killed. The suspect running away from the hotel shortly after, holding what appears to be the cash drawer. And although the video only shows one suspect, police believe others could be involved. Victim Timothy Hurley was the nighttime manager of the hotel. The other victim, Kevin Carter, a security guard from Bradenton. Authorities are now offering an $18,000 reward for any tips or information leading to the capture and conviction of the killer or killers. If you have any information that may prove useful in this investigation, you are asked to contact the Manatee County Crime Stoppers line at the number listed on your screen. And now for a first check on our weather, let's head over to Steve Newman in for Wendy Ross. Steve, good to have you.
Thanks, great to be back. We had some thunderstorms, Adam, this afternoon that formed along a sea breeze front. You can see it move inland, and that's what's left of it, just a few scattered clouds. Most of the rain has gone, although we did have a lot of thunder and lightning right up and down the Suncoast right about 3, 4, 5 this afternoon. You can see one area coming up from Fort Myers washed out before it hit South County, but we could have had some showers this evening. Fortunately, we didn't, but this time tomorrow night could be a different situation. Our overnight futurecast shows it will be dry for the most part and light and variable winds, and tomorrow morning will start off sunny. The afternoon will be sunny and hot, but then we'll talk about that in a few minutes. Our overnight forecast shows temperatures cooling off into the upper 70s. The tropics are heating up. We have 2 systems we're going to look at very closely in just a few minutes. That and the complete weather forecast, Adam, coming up in about 10 minutes.
All right, Steve, thank you very much. Federal officials are investigating an explosion at a Muslim community center in Minnesota. It happened just after 5 o'clock Saturday morning. The center's executive director saying that someone threw a firebomb inside the building as people were preparing for a morning prayer.
One of our congregation members came out immediately and he saw a truck fleeing from the parking lot, running very high speed. And the congregation member told us that person who was leaving, after he left, there was smoke coming out from the window.
Thankfully, nobody was injured, and worshipers extinguished the fire before first responders arrived on scene. Well, chaos today at an American Airlines flight headed for Philadelphia. Severe turbulence sent passengers flying through the plane. 10 people had to be taken to the hospital once that plane landed. ABC's Elizabeth Herr brings us the latest developments.
Scare in the air for passengers and crew aboard an American Airlines flight, rocked by extreme turbulence.
There was just very slight turbulence for about 5 seconds, and then suddenly it felt like the whole plane was in free fall.
And they said for the flight attendants to get to their seats, and they didn't even have time. It started shaking, and then it took a big drop. Babies screaming, people in front of us hitting the ceilings. Flight attendant broke his arm. There's a little bit of blood.
Shaken eyewitnesses describing the plight of flight attendants and fellow passengers injured amid chaos on the plane.
She fell over and the car fell over her.
The gentleman behind us hit the ceiling, and they just served drinks, so drinks went everywhere, food went everywhere.
The mid-air emergency apparently catching the crew off guard.
Right after that, they told us there was unexpected turbulence. It wasn't on their radar.
In all, 299 people were on board Flight 759, traveling from Athens, Greece to Philadelphia when it hit the rough air, the plane landing safely Saturday afternoon.
American 759 Heavy with you on final for 27 right.
In the end, Philadelphia emergency responders took 10 people to the hospital, 3 passengers and 7 crew. Elizabeth Herr, ABC News, New York.
And back here on the Sun Coast, many are still reeling from the tragic death of Snooty the manatee, which happened less than 2 weeks ago. Animal rights protesters taking to the South Florida Museum on Saturday, which was home to the iconic 69-year-old sea cow, and calling for a change in staff. An investigation found that Snooty drowned when he became stuck in a 30 by 30-inch tunnel used to access plumbing for his tank. Its passage is usually blocked by an access panel that is bolted shut. Protesters are calling this incident negligence by museum employees.
I understand there are 3 other manatees in possession of this museum, and we would like to see the protocol for the future care and safety of these manatees.
We are speaking on behalf of people all over the world. I've been contacted by people outside of Florida, outside of the United States, who want us to speak for Snooty since he cannot speak for himself.
Now, the South Florida Museum is currently conducting an internal investigation following Snooty's death with the help of a third party. In response to today's demonstration, the museum issued a statement saying no one is more committed to the well-being of manatees cared for at the South Florida Museum than our team members. Without facts, it is not appropriate to speculate or make any allegations. When the review is complete and action steps are determined, the museum is committed to sharing that information publicly. In the spirit of community, several Suncoast churches and professional services work together to get needy children ready for the school year. St. Wilfrid's Episcopal Church in Sarasota was one of those churches, and today dozens of children were invited to get free medical and dental checks, vision and hearing exams, a haircut, a professional photograph, and a backpack full of school supplies.
It's important for kids to have what they need, as well as to have at least seen a doctor, at least seen a dentist, gotten their hearing and their vision checked so that their parents know that they're ready to go and they don't have any challenges.
Several involved with this effort, 32 churches and 38 schools on the Sun Coast are all involved with the Days for Hope initiative. Well, still to come here on ABC 7, the manhunt for a university professor and Oxford staffer comes to an end. The duo accused of stabbing a man to death in Chicago, and how the United Nations Security Council is responding to the latest threat from North Korea.
A promise was made, a promise that hit the beaches of Normandy, a vow that captured Iwo Jima, a contract that weathered Tet, a pledge that stormed the desert in Iraq, an IOU that braved IEDs in Kandahar. A promise was made to America's veterans. DAV fights to keep that promise, so all veterans and their families get the benefits and support they earned. For help, visit DAV.org.
This is important news for women who were administered chemotherapy intravenously for breast cancer and then suffered permanent hair loss. The chemotherapy drug Taxotere has been linked to permanent alopecia or permanent hair loss. Some women administered the breast cancer chemotherapy drug Taxotere have suffered from permanent hair loss on scalp, eyebrows, and eyelashes. The FDA has urged doctors and the manufacturer to warn women administered Taxotere of the risk of permanent hair loss. If you or a loved one were administered chemotherapy intravenously for breast cancer and suffered permanent hair loss, you may have a right to a cash award and medical expenses. If you suffered permanent hair loss after chemotherapy for breast cancer, call the law offices of Davis & Crump at the number below right now to find out if you are eligible for a cash award and medical expenses. Call the law offices of Davis & Crump right now. Our first consultation is free, and we don't get paid unless you get paid. Call now. Operators are standing by.
If you're only hungry for a slice of apple pie, why buy the whole pie? And you certainly wouldn't want to pay for an all-you-can-eat buffet. So if you don't use your cell phone that much, why get charged for a plan that's too big, or even an unlimited plan? Luckily, there's still a wireless company that shares your values. Welcome to Consumer Cellular. Our average customer pays about $25 a month for everything they need. Many pay even less, as plans start at just $10 a month. You'll get a straightforward bill that's easy to understand, with no surprises, and all the attention you deserve from our friendly customer service team. No wonder Consumer Cellular has received J.D. Power Awards for highest customer service. Plus, if you're an AARP member, you'll receive special discounts. It's easy to switch. You can even keep your phone and your number. And now, for a limited time, get a $20 credit on any new line of service. Call 1-800-468-1930. Go to consumercellular.com or visit a Target store today.
Monday at 4 on Suncoast View. It's time to shop till you drop for back-to-school fashions. I'm Stephanie Roberts. On Suncoast View, a Bradenton boutique is here to talk trends like rompers and florals, and they'll bring us a fashion show on our runway. A young Suncoast success story stops by to talk about her singing career and perform for us. We'll ask Dr. Jenny about tummy troubles, and Oak and Stone joins us in the kitchen. Monday at 4 on Suncoast View.
Enjoy some of the best Suncoast restaurants on me. Just go to mysuncoast.com/dining, sign up for the newsletter if you haven't already, and you can win a $50 gift card to a restaurant in our area. We'll pick a winner each week, so go on our website and sign up now.
Warren, an Oxford University employee, gave himself up at San Francisco police station Friday night. Both men face first-degree murder charges in the stabbing death of 26-year-old Trenton Cornell Duranlow. Police found his body 9 days ago on the 10th floor of this Chicago apartment building after they received a 911 call. Investigators say they believe Professor Latham and the victim had a relationship. According to Chicago police officials, before his surrender, Latham sent a video to family and friends apologizing for the murder, saying it is the biggest mistake of my life. Latham, seen here in another online video, was a microbiologist at Northwestern University for 10 years.
He just seemed like a perfectly normal guy.
The two suspects now awaiting extradition to Illinois. Ariel Reshef, ABC News, New York.
In other news, the United Nations Security Council has unanimously voted to levy new and stronger sanctions against North Korea. This is in response to the dictatorship's nuclear program and frequent missile tests. The latest test, involving an intercontinental ballistic long-range missile, alarmed the world with its ability to reach longer distances, posing possible risks to nations as far as the U.S. and jeopardizing international security. Joining that resolution were countries including China and Russia, who the U.S. administration has called on directly to exert their influence on North Korea to halt its ballistic missile program. Today marks day 2 of the back-to-school sales tax holiday. During the weekend, personal computers priced up to $750 are exempt, and school supplies, clothing, and footwear will be tax-free. Families are expected to save more than $33 million, with retailers adding on to their own sales to bring families in. And as for teachers, also preparing for the year ahead, every little bit helps.
With the budget cutbacks that are happening now, the dollars are more and more important. Some schools have uniforms, others don't. You want your child to look nice, but now this is cost effective to get the kids ready.
The holiday ends this Sunday, so make sure to get all of your back-to-school shopping done before Monday. And Steve, do you remember back-to-school shopping? I was a big fan.
I sure do, and every penny helps, especially
it sure does.
When this time of year, because there's a lot of money to be spent now in early part of fall.
Absolutely. I used to have to spend my own money on shoes. That was always the big item before every school year.
Well, did you hear the thunder and lightning this afternoon?
Yeah,
it
definitely hear it here.
From all up and down the Suncoast, a big solid line developed, and we'll look at that radar in a minute, but it's a quiet night, and along the coast it wasn't that bad. As you can see on our Casey Key webcam, partly sunny skies, but look out in the distance over the Gulf. There were some storms out there, but they kind of fizzled out before the clouds reached the shoreline, so it was a beautiful sunset, and it is a very nice night with an almost full moon shining down on top of us. 81, a warm night, at 11 o'clock at night, 81 degrees, dew point 75, that is humid, and wind is virtually calm, so it's a little muggy outside right now. Our high 91 this afternoon, last night's low 78, and you can see how that compares to normal for this time of year, a little bit normal, above normal on both counts. Now there are the clouds from that solid line of the sea breeze front that developed all up and down the Suncoast. We also had some strong storms offshore that washed out just before getting here. And tonight, if we look at our radar scopes, there's hardly anything to be seen anywhere across the Sunshine State up except around St. Augustine to Jacksonville. And the storms that did come up from around Fort Myers late in the afternoon really dissipated before they reached us. They could have brought us a few raindrops, but that just did not occur. Looking at the national weather scene, we have a threat of tornadoes, or severe thunderstorms actually, right now in northern Oklahoma and southern part of Kansas. But the big weather story is the cool air that is blowing down across the northeastern states. It's cool, like fall, with temperatures at this hour cooling off overnight to the upper 40s in some spots, the 50s and 60s in many locations. And then for tomorrow, warming back up, still a little cooler than what you can get this time of year. It can be in the 80s and 90s all across this area. So I think they're liking this little hint of fall. Now let's take a look at the tropics, and it is heating up as wind shear across the tropics has weakened in the Caribbean and Gulf, giving a better chance for things to develop. We'll look at this area in the Atlantic in a minute, but first let's focus right now on the central Caribbean with that swirl of clouds. The National Hurricane Center has given it a name. It's called Invest 90. They're investigating it. Number 90 has maximum sustained wind of 35 miles an hour. They're saying it has a 50% chance of developing in the next 2 days and a 70% chance of developing in the next 5 days. Here's a spaghetti plot model showing it skirting Central America and moving into the Yucatan Peninsula area by about Monday at 8 p.m. But now let's look at the GFS forecast model. It shows that it could actually develop into Tropical Storm or Hurricane Franklin over the Gulf of Campeche later on, and then washing out over northeast Mexico. Now quickly, let's go back out in the Atlantic. This has about a 50% chance of developing over the next 5 days. It is Invest 99L, 30-mile-an-hour winds, and the spaghetti plot is very interesting. If it stays over the land of the Greater Antilles, it will inhibit its development, but we're going to look very closely at this over the next few days because it does have a potential of causing problems. Here's our wind forecast for tonight and tomorrow. South wind 10 knots, seas 2 feet or less, a light chop on bay and inland waters. And it'll be mostly sunny and warm at the beach, high 92 with the water temperature of 89, UV index of 12. And here's the 7-day outlook showing that we only have a 10% chance of showers during the day tomorrow, but tomorrow night a good chance that they develop, and then a 40 to 50% chance right on Monday through Friday. But tomorrow, Sunday, is going to be a really hot day. Lots of sunshine will make it even more hot. So get to the water if you can. Adam?
Thank you, Steve. We got sports coming up right next. Stick around.
This is an important medical announcement. Bard IVC filters have been linked to punctured veins and problems with migration. Anyone who's received a Bard IVC filter must receive medical monitoring and may be entitled to substantial compensation. If you have the Bard Recovery G2 or G2 Express filter, you are in a class of patients who should be compensated for some expenses. Call now for a free assessment of your case and potential money damages. This call is confidential, there's no cost, and you may be eligible. Juries have awarded millions of dollars to people who should have been warned about the risks of the Bard IVC filters. Call the IVC Filter Hotline if you or a loved one has received an IVC filter and experienced a vein puncture or required medical monitoring. You must call now.
Call 800-329-3089. 800-329-3089.
The following message is brought to you by Mesobook.com.
People who have been diagnosed with mesothelioma have many questions. How did I get this disease? What are my treatment options? How will this affect my loved ones? You need answers, which is why we offer a free book written by medical professionals who have treated mesothelioma.
Call toll-free at 1-800-777-1366 or go to mesobook.com.
Because my parents told me I have to be responsible.
Because my first coach told me, you can do this.
Because my boss showed me how to do a good job.
Because my teacher helped me see the choices.
I'm swimming faster than I ever dreamed.
I am a valuable employee.
I discovered that I could work as an artist.
I will be whatever I want to be.
Youth with disabilities should grow up expecting to work and succeed. For more information, visit whatcanyoudocampaign.org.
I witnessed him have 2 heart attacks in ICU. He went through seizures.
We'd much rather have Aaron like this than dead. A lot of parents don't have that luxury.
He can't talk. He can't walk. This is a condition Aaron will live with for the rest of his life because he abused prescription pills.
Mind your meds. Learn more from the Partnership for Drug-Free Kids.
On the next Black Almanac.
There is an ever-expanding intersection of education policy and the rule of law, and the conflicts that sometimes result. As a new school year begins, it's important to understand and appreciate the respective rights and obligations of students, parents, schools, and the criminal justice system.
Sunday morning at 7:30 on ABC7.
Watch ABC7 wherever you are. Just search ABC7 on your streaming device to keep up with the Suncoast from the comfort of your couch. Download ABC7 now to watch us on TV anytime you want. ABC7, we're here for you wherever you are.
Now, sports. Tampa Bay has gone from red-hot road warriors to ice cold in their home series against the Brewers. A scary moment in the second inning. Tonight, Milwaukee's Travis Shaw hit in the head by catcher Jesus Sucre's throw. Take another look. That ball catching some of Shaw's helmet, but none of Adeiny Echeverria's glove. Shaw would have to leave the game. Now, the Rays haven't scored a run since Thursday. Brad Miller thinks he's about to end the drought with this seventh-inning shot, but Ryan Braun is right there at the wall and makes the easy catch. Ninth inning. Well, there's no doubt about this one off Ryan Stanek. That's up and gone. Tampa Bay's scoreless streak now up to 20 straight innings, and they lose 3-0. Former Rays outfielder Matt Joyce has been suspended 2 games for directing a gay slur towards a fan. It happened Friday night, during Oakland's game against the Los Angeles Angels. Joyce was robbed of a hit by Angels first baseman C.J. Cron, and on his way back to the dugout, he got into a heated exchange with the fan, which he says he immediately regrets. The Miami Dolphins have added another bronze bust to the shelves of Canton, Ohio. Sackmaster Jason Taylor elected to the Pro Football Hall of Fame in his first year on the ballot. Taylor had 139.5 career sacks over 15 NFL seasons, 13 of which were spent in South Beach. Saturday, Taylor thanked his first pro coach, Jimmy Johnson, but also the single mother who raised him.
I was born and raised in Pittsburgh, and my mother personifies that blue-collar grit that makes the Steel City what it is. We didn't have much. Section 8 housing, welfare lines, we lived it. We went through it. But, Mom, you kept us all together. You were our rock.
Taylor went to college down the road from Canton, Ohio at the University of Akron, telling crowds on Saturday it took 20 years to go 20 miles. More to come here on ABC 7. Stay with us.
If you're thinking about replacing your windows, what matters most to you? We found what matters is high performance. Our customers want energy-efficient windows built for Florida weather. Windows that can stand everything from scorching sun to hurricanes. Our customers want windows that reflect their life, their lifestyle. Windows that will last a lifetime. We listen to our customers, and as a result, we're growing. So if you're looking to replace your windows, stop here at New South Window.
Buy more, save more. Volume discounts on 4 or more windows.
This is an important medical announcement. Xarelto and Pradaxa have been linked to uncontrollable bleeding and even death. If you've been prescribed one of these drugs and have experienced these dangerous side effects, you may be entitled to substantial compensation. Studies show that Pradaxa can cause more heart attacks than warfarin, and other countries have already issued safety warnings against this drug. Call now for a free assessment of your case and potential money damages. The call is confidential, there's no cost, and you may be eligible. Juries have awarded millions of dollars to Pradaxa victims, and thousands of Xarelto victims are filing their legal cases. Call the Drug Watch hotline if you or a loved one used Xarelto or Pradaxa and experienced uncontrollable bleeding, brain hemorrhage, or even death. You must call now.
Call 800-793-6055. 800-793-6055.
Consumer Cellular makes it easy to stay in touch with family and stay within our budget.
Now our cell phone bill is only a fraction of what it used to be.
Our average customers get everything they need for about $25 a month, and plans start at only $10 a month with no contracts.
Consumer Cellular has a great choice of phones. Check out my new one. I picked this simple phone.
I use my son's old smartphone. Kept my number, too.
Consumer Cellular has been an approved AARP provider since 2008, and members get exclusive discounts.
It's a good thing Consumer Cellular is always there, because sometimes I need a little help.
Sometimes. We're proud to have received the J.D. Power Award for highest customer service among non-contract wireless providers.
Over the years, we've seen a lot of change.
We actually use change. Luckily, there are some things we can still afford.
Like Consumer Cellular.
Stop paying too much for wireless service. Switch now, and for a limited time, get a $20 credit on any new line of service. Call 1-800-920-3084. Go online or visit a Target store today.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes, B, console her,
don't worry, sweetie. This is gonna happen a lot.
or C, find her a new boyfriend?
Nice, single boys. That was weird.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Check out mysuncoast.com/dining, your guide to the foodie lifestyle. The Florida Lottery winning numbers are sponsored by Frontier Fios.
Welcome back. Fox News has suspended Eric Bolling, the co-host of the nightly program The Specialist, while it investigates allegations that he sent a lewd photo to co-workers. A network spokesperson confirming that suspension today after the Huffington Post on anonymous sources stated Bolling had sent a lewd photo to at least 3 female colleagues at Fox News and Fox Business. Bolling's attorney, Michael J. Bowe, called the accusations uncorroborated and untrue in an email on Saturday. Thousands of rubber ducks were released into Lady Bird Lake in Texas this week. Kayakers and a ferry boat full of people watching the 17,000 little rubber duckies floating along the lake in a race for a good cause. The ducks helping raise money for charity and bringing in prizes for participants. The race in Texas taking place the same week that Chicago kicked off their own rubber ducky derby, benefiting the Special Olympics of Illinois. Adorable.
First Lady Lady Bird would love that, I'm sure.
There you go, man. Steve Newman.
We didn't get a chance to take a look at the futurecast, but look tonight through tomorrow, fair to partly cloudy skies, but by late tomorrow, while tomorrow will be dry and hot, we could have some thunderstorms erupt right before sunset and cool things off a little bit, and the same thing will happen again on Monday afternoon, but a greater coverage. So there will be some storms, but just not most of tomorrow.
All right, and hopefully cooling things off. I think I heard that
We
right in there.
We hope, because it's broiling hot.
Oh, it's too hot out there. Well, we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for joining us tonight.